Hi guys, and welcome to the TruGolf Academy. You've joined me, Jon Watts, today at Drayton Park Golf Club. I'm in my swing studio and today's video is going to be about pressure shift patterns. How the pressure shift pattern is going to affect your swing path and your angle of attack. I'm going to show you two different versions. One which real long drive guys and girls use, which is great for obviously generating speed and power, but not necessarily consistency. And then one more consistent pattern that we tend to see with the world's elite golfers. So I have talked a little bit about pressure shifting before in terms of trail foot to lead foot, but I'm going to go more actually into heels, toes, and as we start to see the movement patterns here. And up on the screen there is going to be the examples of the pressure shift patterns that I'm talking about, so you can start to see that. So when we're talking about pressure shift, it's talking about where we apply pressure through our feet into the ground. It's very different to talking about weight transfer. I'm not talking about shifting or sliding or laterally moving my whole body. It's how I apply pressure. So quickly going to touch about trail foot to lead leg, but as I said, the real focus of this is going to be more about heels, toes. So what I look for from right to left for me as a right-handed golfer is a setup position pretty equal. With an iron in my hand, I would, if anything, be looking for a little bit more pressure to be on my lead leg at setup, sort of 55% of my pressure, 45% on my trail foot. Whereas with a driver in my hand, because I'm tilting a little bit further behind the golf ball and trying to hit more up on it, I'd actually be looking for a start position with a little bit more pressure onto my trail foot. Again, more like the 55%. So it's slightly different iron to driver. As we wind up into the backswing, what we're really looking for is the pressure to be down into the ground through our trail foot. And at the top of the backswing, we want a good 80% of our pressure over our trail foot. There's a big change from the top of the backswing in the transition to the start of the downswing. And it's not from 80 to 80 straight away. It's a gradual increase of pressure into this lead leg. But we go from 80% on our trail foot as we start our downswing to 60, 70 over here on our lead leg, 80, 90 by the time we get to impact. And then we rebalance at something pretty close to 80-20, so 80% onto our lead leg. That's what we're looking for in terms of right to left, trail foot to lead leg. But as I said, what I'm going to touch more onto is really talking about where our pressure is in our feet from heels to toes. So with force platforms, it's made it very easy to start to track what the world's best golfers are doing, and we can also see what the real long drive guys and girls are doing as well. So I'm going to talk you through the first pattern, the one I really want to see, the one that we'd be looking for consistent, we see with the world's best strikers of the golf ball. So they start with their pressure around balls of their feet. So I'm not going to talk too much about trail foot, lead foot, as I've just gone on to that, but they start with their pressure around balls of their feet. So it could be toes, balls of our feet, the arch of our shoes or our heels. They definitely start with their pressure nearer the balls of their feet, balls to arch here. So it's in a well-balanced position. And what we're looking for is a very linear movement. So as we wind up into the backswing, the pressure is moved more into my trail foot, but it's still balls of foot. Okay, so it hasn't shifted back into my heels or too much into our toes. As we start our downswing, the pressure is shifting towards our lead leg, but again in a linear movement. So the pressure is shifted from my trail ball of foot to my lead ball of foot. And then as we wind up and turn into impact and through impact, the pressure is definitely going into our lead heel. So we look like it's a shift to the right for a right-handed golfer, but a linear movement, a shift to the left, a linear movement, and then as we rotate, it fish hooks that pressure into that left heel. And that's a very consistent pattern that we're looking for. That tends to give us a very good, nice, consistent plane that we're looking at, that we're swinging on. If we see someone's pressure move back more into the heels, we tend to see a flatter backswing. If we see the downswing, this is the most common, by the way, with amateur golfers, is a pressure shift into the heels, a flat backswing, turn very early, complete the backswing more with perhaps hands and arms. And the downswing, we tend to see a pressure shift towards the trail toe, and then as we swing out to in, it moves into that lead heel. So we see a pressure shift that looks more like a figure of 8 rather than this linear movement we're really looking for. I'm going to go ahead and try and hit one, just feeling after a couple of practice swings that pressure shift I'm really looking for. So I want to start with my weight, my pressure, very much balls of feet, slightly favouring my trail foot, sort of 55%. As I wind up, I want to still feel that pressure into my ball of my foot, but it's my trail foot. I'm going to be shifting that pressure into my lead ball of foot. And then as I rotate through, definitely feeling it into my lead heel. So this is just a stock drive, what I'm trying to feel in my normal swing anyway. Let me give it a go. Not bad. Balance felt really good. Pressure shift felt really good. Pushed it a little bit right to target, but all in all, pretty happy. Not perhaps the quickest or the longest, but really concentrating on my shift of pressure. And that gave me figures, let's have a quick peek. So I hit up on the ball by 2.3 degrees and I swung into out by 1.5 degrees. The reason it went a little right to target was just the club face was a bit too open. The strike was okay, as you can see. So that's my standard pressure shift I'm really looking for. It moving, as I said, in a linear movement towards my trail foot, towards my lead leg, and then into that lead heel. What I want to try and show you is the difference we see with real long hitters. As I said, this isn't necessarily the most consistent pattern, but what we see with long hitters is they might again start very well balanced in terms of balls of feet. We may see even a higher tee and a little bit more tilt behind the ball, so they may start with a little bit more pressure into their trail foot. But as they swing back, what we see is the pressure shifting into the trail heel. So it's definitely moving more into the trail heel. And they're doing that because it really allows them to open up their hips and open up their chest and actually create a bigger turn and a longer swing. So we see the pressure shifting into the trail heel. On the downswing, the pressure is actually shifting into the lead toe. So it's actually more of a movement. Instead of this linear straight movement, it's actually going as if we're going more in to out. So it goes into the trail heel, into the lead toe. And you often see with the long hitters, both heels actually elevated at impact, which shows us we know their pressure's gone into their lead leg, but we know their pressure's way up onto their toes. And then again, it does rebalance eventually into their heels. This will create, or should create, a more in-to-out path. And likelihood is we're going to be hitting upwards on the golf ball a little bit more, which we know is beneficial for distance. So again, I'm going to try my best. It might take me one or two, but I'm going to try my best at feeling that. So I'm going to be feeling like I really turn into that trail heel, and I'm going to really be trying to get that pressure into my lead toe, almost feeling like I am straightening, pushing off the floor even more at impact. So it should create a more into-out path, which is what I'm interested in looking at. So let's give it a whirl. It did. It was just a bit out the bottom of the golf club. But I think we'll have the desired numbers. You can see a nice draw pattern. I think there's more in there. I don't think I really hit it great. A bit out the bottom of the club, but you can see I hit up on the ball by 5.7 degrees instead of 2.3. I swung into out by 5 degrees rather than 1.5. I got a higher club head speed. I got a higher ball speed, not as high as I want. Really, the efficiency's down because the strike, it just felt out a little bit, out the bottom of the golf club. What I should perhaps do, I'm not going to muck around with it here, is tee it higher. So what you do see with these long drive guys and girls is they really got it way up there where I haven't adjusted this. This is my normal tee height. So perhaps I should have gone a little bit higher. But let's give it one more go. Let me just click so you guys can see See the ball flight again, see if I can hit one a little bit better than that, but exactly what I was looking for. So this is that long drive one of pressure more into the trail heel, pressure more into the lead toe. So we should see it more into out path. Again, really good. And actually, a nice straight ball flight. That one's longer. There we go. Good. So 260 carry, 282. Finish higher clubhead speed again, 104.4. So I tend to swing it about 102. So I managed to gain a couple of miles an hour doing that. Exactly the same angle of attack. Hit up on it by 5.7, into out by 4 degrees. So that pressure shift definitely gave me a more upward angle of attack and a more into out path, which is going to be very good if you're looking for extra yardage. If we're looking for a consistent pattern, as I said, we want to feel like it is balls of feet, and then balancing into that lead heel as we rotate through. I hope that video has answered a few questions. I know it's a big subject, but understanding how the pressure shift affects the swing path and the angle of attack is really vital to start to learn how to generate speed or consistency. If you did enjoy the content, give us a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for free. All the other content is Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 5:30. Plenty of videos online, so go out and check out the back catalogue if you haven't already. And all our social media info is coming along the bottom of the screen as well. Cheers guys, we'll see you soon.